The colony's park smelled of fresh-cut grass and rising dust as the sun dipped low, casting golden hues across the cricket pitch. It was selection day, one of those casual neighborhood rituals where talent should speak louder than pedigree, and where color, caste, or class should hold no weight. But in this part of the city, even the stumps knew otherwise. I stood just beyond the wire fence, my arms folded, watching my 11-year-old son, Ryan, warm up with quiet concentration. His hands gripped the bat with natural rhythm, fluid, intuitive, inherited. His form was unmistakable. Low stance, alert eyes, bat raised high. His mother used to say he was born with a backlift, but I knew he got it from somewhere deeper. From him. From Brian. The man who once sent balls flying in the Kingston sky like they were weightless. The man who would later become family. Not just by blood, but by choice. But Ryan didn't know that yet. We'd kept it quiet. His mother wanted him to earn respect, not receive it as a handout. Unfortunately, respect wasn't something the colony's self-appointed cricket queen was known for giving. Karan made his son will be the vice captain, Karen declared, strutting onto the field with her clipboard like she ran the BCCI. Her real name was Kavita Rana, but her British accent, picked up from 3 months in Manchester, earned her the nickname Karen around the colony. The name fit. "And the wicket-keeper will be from our tower only," she added, glancing at the slim boy beside her who looked like he'd never seen a real ball. "We must maintain the team's image." By image, we all knew what she meant. Ryan, brown-skinned and curly-haired, stood out in the crowd of fairer, wealthier boys who played in sponsored shoes and matching jerseys. He didn't have the latest cricket bat, but he had something they didn't. Timing. You could throw a marble at him and he'd drive it for 4. Still, I saw Karen eye him like a virus. "What's your son's name again?" she asked, peering over her sunglasses. "Ryan David." "Oh," she smiled thinly. "David. Christian, right?" Her voice dripped with fake politeness. I nodded. She scribbled something on the clipboard and turned to the coach, a spineless man named Saurabh, who nodded at everything she said like a bobblehead. Ryan didn't care. He walked up to bat when it was his turn, cool and focused. The first ball came, a fast one, too quick for most kids. Crack! It flew over mid-wicket, the kind of sound that made heads turn. The next ball? Straight drive, clean. Then a pull shot, then a late cut. 5 balls, 4 boundaries. The coach's jaw dropped. The other parents clapped. Karen stood, arms crossed, lips pursed, like someone who just got outbid at an auction. By the end of the session, Ryan outshined everyone, even the boys in fancy academy jerseys. But when the team list went up later that evening, his name wasn't there. I read it 3 times. No Ryan David. My blood boiled. I approached Saurabh, who looked like he'd seen a ghost when I walked up. "He didn't make it?" I asked, calm but cold. "Well, we considered team dynamics. There were too many batsmen already. He was the only one who hit a 50 today, and he did it in 10 balls. Yes, but I didn't wait for him to finish. Say it," I said. "Say what you really mean." I don't want to create a scene." Behind me, Karen's voice chimed in, shrill and smug. "Maybe your son would be more comfortable in another sport, something less competitive. Cricket is very cultural, you know." That was the final straw. I turned slowly and walked away, but not out of defeat. I was done playing nice. If they wanted culture, I'd give them legacy. The next day, I made a call. Brian Lara answered after the second ring. His voice hadn't changed, warm, calm, like an ocean before a storm. "Mate, how's the little champion?" He doesn't know it yet, but he will. It's time. "What's going on?" I told him everything. The unfair selection, Karen's words, the snub, the image. He went silent for a few seconds. Then, "Book me a ticket." "You serious?" "Of course. That boy's my blood. He's got the gift.
and nobody sidelines Lara. It took 2 days. During those 2 days, Karen held practices on the colony pitch like it was her personal kingdom. Ryan didn't go near it. He stayed in his room, silent. The joy was gone from his eyes. Cricket had betrayed him. On day 3, the sun was high, and the boys were gathered for their final practice before the colony championship. Karen wore a whistle and a sun hat, pretending she knew what deep third man meant. Then a black BMW pulled up near the field. The door opened. Out stepped Brian Lara, in a white linen shirt, dark shades, and a presence that turned heads like a hurricane through palm trees. Karen squinted, confused. "Who is that?" Saurabh gasped audibly. One of the older boys dropped his bat. That's Brian Lara." Karen scoffed. "Who?" "The Brian Lara, West Indies, 400 not out." The color drained from her face. He walked straight toward Ryan, who was sitting by the bench, stunned. Brian knelt, handed him a bat from his back. "Let's show them what a Lara looks like in motion." Ryan blinked. "Uncle Brian? Your mom's first cousin. That makes me family. Now go. Let's light this pitch up." Karen tried to intervene, but it was too late. Ryan walked to the crease. Brian took a seat beside me, crossed his legs, and smirked. "Let them bowl." The first ball came. Ryan didn't just hit it, he sliced time. It went past the fielder before they even reacted. Then came a lofted cover drive, then a pull shot that almost broke the school fence. Kids dropped their jaws. Parents stood in silence. Karen tried to blow her whistle. Brian stood up. "Excuse me," he said, loud enough for all to hear. "You excluded this boy from your team? I didn't know. That he's my nephew? Or that he's brilliant? I was just—" Brian shook his head and stepped onto the field. "I'm hosting a mini-camp next weekend. Ryan will help me coach it. Those who want to learn real cricket, join us. We'll be playing at the sports club, not this backyard politics ground." The kids murmured. One by one, they stepped away from Karen's lineup. Even Karen Mehta's son followed. Saurabh dropped his clipboard. Karen's empire? Crumbling. And we'd only just begun. By Monday, Karen's grip on the colony cricket scene had shattered like a cheap bat against a Yorker. Word spread fast. Parents whispered in elevators, kids gossiped on staircases, and even the security guards paused their chai breaks to talk about the celebrity coach who'd shown up unannounced. Flyers appeared on notice boards with one line printed bold in red: "Train with Brian Lara, Colony Club Cricket Camp." And at the bottom, "Assistant Coach Ryan David." Karen tried to stop it. She went to the RWA, Residents' Welfare Association, filing an official complaint about unauthorized coaching. But her complaint was shredded the moment Brian Lara's name reached the ears of Mr. Ranjan, the head of the RWA and an ex-cricketer himself. "I've watched this man dismantle England. If he wants to coach here, we roll out a red carpet, not red tape." Karen was never so thoroughly overruled in her life. And it stung, because what she had tried to erase had now become the main act. The sports club wasn't fancy, the nets were patched with tape, the pitch needed rolling, and the benches had seen better years. But when Brian Lara stood in front of 20 eager kids, even the rust looked golden. Ryan stood beside him, nervous but glowing. I watched from the sidelines, heart thudding with the mix of pride and relief. "All right," he clapped. "Let's talk cricket. Not politics, not bias, just the game." His voice commanded respect without demanding it. The kids nodded. Ryan helped with drills, shadow batting, footwork, eye coordination. Brian worked them through match scenarios, pushing each child to think like a cricketer, not just swing like one.
Karen watched all this from the perimeter, lips pursed so tight they could have cracked. She wasn't used to losing control, especially not to someone with darker skin or a bigger legacy. That night, she made her next move. The colony's championship, usually an in-house affair, was suddenly upgraded. Karen pulled strings, claiming she had corporate sponsors and media partners. Flyers changed. The tournament was no longer just a colony event. Now it was branded the Northside Super Junior Cup, hosted by Karen Lara. Entry fees soared. Teams were hand-picked. Ryan's name was, again, missing. Except this time, she'd overplayed her hand. Because the Super Cup needed approvals, insurance, and official clearances. And Brian? He wasn't just a guest anymore. He'd filed paperwork to start an academy, with Ryan as his first student. A week before the tournament, the Colony Sports Club hosted a press conference. Dozens of parents, local media, and even regional cricket officials showed up. Brian stood at the mic. "I've played cricket across continents," he said, "but I've never seen a young boy with more raw talent than Ryan David. I came here for him, but I'm staying for all the kids who never get seen because of the color of their skin or the accent in their name." Applause erupted. Karen watched, fuming. Then Brian looked directly at her. "And for those who try to gatekeep this beautiful game, I say this. Cricket is no one's property. It belongs to those who respect it." Boom. Karen stormed out. Cameras caught her face mid-snarl. That image went viral in a colony WhatsApp group within minutes. But we weren't done yet. Tournament day arrived. Karen's team, the Northside Elite 11, showed up in brand new kits, full sponsors, even a bus. Meanwhile, Brian had put together a team of unselected kids, those rejected for being too dark, too short, too unpolished. They wore mismatched shirts and grins wider than the field. Ryan captained the team. Their first match? Against Karen's Elite 11. The air buzzed with tension. Karen strut across the ground, sunglasses perched high, muttering loud enough for everyone to hear. "Let's rep this in 10 overs." Brian just smiled. Ryan won the toss. He chose to bat. The first over was cautious. Then came the second. Ryan stepped out, timed a drive so perfectly it pinged off the bat like poetry. 4. Next ball, pulled hard. 6. Then a delicate glance, another boundary. 30 runs in 2 overs. Parents began to murmur. Karen clenched her fists. By the 10th over, Ryan had 79 not out. The unselected team finished at 158/2. Then came the fielding. These kids had nothing to lose and everything to prove. They ran like wolves, dived like they were airborne. Ryan took a blinder at backward point that got even the umpire clapping. One by one, Karen's elites fell. Sons of CEOs and bureaucrats looked stunned as ball after ball found stumps, hands, or air. In the 17th over, it was over. Karen's team bowled out at 98. The crowd erupted. Brian walked over to Karen with a smile sharper than any sledging line. "Still think he belongs in another sport?" Karen didn't reply. She packed up her clipboard, peeled off her sunglasses, and walked away, defeated, humiliated, silenced. That evening, the Colony Committee awarded a special Spirit of the Game trophy to Ryan. He held it up with tears in his eyes. Brian placed an arm around his shoulder. "You didn't just play, you answered." Ryan now trains full-time at Brian's Academy. The Colony Field has a new board now, Lara David Cricket Ground, where talent is the only ticket. And Karen? She hasn't returned to the pitch since. She tried to gatekeep a game that was never hers to begin with. She tried to shame a boy because of his skin color, unaware she was poking the bloodline of a legend. And in the end, she learned the oldest rule in cricket and in life. Never underestimate the kid with nothing but a bat and fire in his heart, especially when Brian Lara is his uncle.